The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, thanks. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico de Haan and Paige Clark.
Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. Good morning, I'm Nico de Haan, and it's a beautiful day in downtown St. Petersburg this morning. It's about 69 degrees, a little foggy out, a little inversion going on, and we got that cold front coming in, so it'll be nice and cool today. And I'd like to remind you, I have a brand new Health Signals newsletter out right now. Starts with brain toxins and the glymphatic system. And a lot of good articles in here. This is number 23 of the year. We've been doing this 9 years now, so our 10th year is coming up pretty soon. And also, of course, remind you to pick up our Primal Edge. It's our one-shot wonder, and over 310 cell-ready ingredients, all made healthy by the fulvic and humic acid that get the good stuff in and let the bad stuff out. Of course, we're taking your phone calls at 877-927-6648. My partner is back in town. She'll be here on Thursday. Get our Thursday show's back, so I'm looking forward to seeing her. If you remember what she looks like here, I think I got a little picture of it. Let's see, right here. There she is. Forget what she looks like, but she'll be back, so that'll be really nice. I'm really looking forward to seeing her and hearing the stories about her in Cambodia, her and her daughter doing. That was a very cool trip. Now, I'd like to start this morning talking a little bit about coffee, and if you're a coffee drinker, you know there's nothing better in the morning than taking that first shot of coffee, whether it's hot or cold. And these days, a lot of cold coffee is out there, which is really cool. It's delicious, but that's the least of it. With coffee running through your veins, you suddenly feel energized enough to take on the day ahead. And that's kind of the way you feel for sure. You take that first sip and you go, this will charge me up, and this will wake me up. And it's just part of the routine that we do to get you going in the day. But it's also much more than that, because coffee is good for us. Most studies have found that coffee is also pretty good for our health, and as long as you're not overdoing it, and by overdoing it, they mean that most people, if they drink over 6 cups per day, that's overdoing it, and that's a lot. Coffee has been correlated with decreased risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and some research has found it even can reduce your risk of depression. So when you get up in the morning, you take that first sip and you feel good, that's getting you right out of the depression right there. So we know that most of us don't have to give up the coffee because of, you hear news that it isn't good for you, but the truth is, it really is. It's a fruit, and it's one of the best fruits in the world. It has more antioxidants than any other fruit we know of. So a lot of times people say they get like jitters from it, or spikes in anxiety. Some people even get a stomach ache, and none of that really feels good. So if you're on a mission to really enjoy having coffee without the negative side effects, I have some good news for you. First and foremost, everybody's different, and we all metabolize caffeine differently. So while one person may be able to drink 4 cups after lunch and feel great and then get a good night's sleep that night, another person might drink a smaller amount first thing in the morning, suffer a massive case of jitters, and stay up all night. There's no way to figure out exactly how you react to coffee until you try it. Plus, most people can experience some of the not so great side effects, like the jitters, insomnia, racing heart, or even full-blown panic attacks. Caffeine has several physiological effects on the body, and one of the most potent being its ability to stimulate the sympathetic nervous system, produce adrenaline from your glands. Now, adrenaline is a powerful hormone that is part of the fight or flight response. The release of adrenaline in the bloodstream increases blood pressure, your heart rate, and your respiratory rate, all of which contribute to the jittery feeling you get when you consume too much coffee. Now, as a general rule, the higher the caffeine amount in your coffee, the more you're likely to experience these symptoms. Increasingly, while you may associate espresso shots with a jolt of caffeine, 2 shots, which is really the standard for serving coffee in most coffee shops, actually has significantly less caffeine. That's about 150 milligrams in 2 shots of espresso, and a 16-ounce cup of Starbucks coffee is about 330 milligrams, so that's more than double. Now, if you've been into the cold brew fan types of things, you're getting about 200 milligrams of coffee from Starbucks standard 16-ounce cup. If you're hopping into what they call the nitro brew, then you're looking at caffeine content similar to that of drip coffee, which is 325 milligrams for a 16-ounce cup. So what about the acidity? That's about the biggest indicator of how coffee will make you affect you, whether you're in your body or your brain. If you ever struggled with stomach problems and things like that, this could be the culprit. It's the toxicity in there, what they call the little bitter feeling that makes you jitter. So that's the acidity. People with inflamed esophagus, people with stomach problems or intestinal issues can be especially sensitive to higher acid drinks like coffee, because the acidity from coffee can cause a burning sensation upon exposure to sensitive tissue. So if your tissue is damaged a little bit and it's sensitive, you're going to feel it. So if this sounds like you, opt for coffee that is less acidic. One study found that espresso, French roast, or other dark roasted coffees may be less irritating because they contain a compound which is only produced during the roasting, and that inhibits the stomach acid production. This is called N-methylapyridine. Yeah, got that. Another thing that complicates coffee is, and we all suffer from it, for example, pouring a lot of milk in your coffee will increase the acidity also. If you're adding sugar, artificial sugar, butter, MCT oil, all these can affect your brain and your body in a different way, and everybody's a little different in that. The bulletproof coffee, which I drink type, is supposed to be made of butter and MCT oil. And MCT oil may increase metabolism and improve the mental clarity, but it also can cause some indigestion if you're really susceptible to things that are sensitive in your stomach. The MCT oil is a fat, and some people have trouble, metabolizing those fats. Coffee drinks with added sugar pose a problem, of course. So if you, let's see what it says here now. So if you like the taste of coffee but don't do well with caffeine, suggest trying chicory root. Chicory root is an herb that tastes similar to coffee when brewed and is naturally caffeine-free. Of course, you can go to the caffeine-free type of decaffeinated coffee too. Most people drinking coffee is also important in kind of as a ritual. You can wake up in the morning, you turn the coffee machine on, maybe it's already ready for you. You've got these gadgets these days that might make it easy. So, everybody's a little different. You got to test it out. But if you like coffee and you don't get the jitters, you're probably doing something right here. So stick around, folks. Please pick up the Primal Edge during the break. It's only $89 to your door every single month. Please pick that up right now. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hey, welcome back to the show. I talk often about wild plants and how I think that the wild plants really are what, and not just the plants, but the wild is what really is the healthiest possible thing that we can have. If we live in the wild, we're going to be much healthier. And this is one reason why wild plant ancestors need protection, because a lot of our commercial plants that we have a wild ancestor. Only a small percentage of wild ancestors vital to human life can be considered safe from extinction. Botanists who have monitored the conservation status of almost 7,000 species, the wild forerunners of plants that humans use for food, medicine, shelter, fuel, and livestock feed, most that could be counted are not properly conserved and protected. Another wild plant, perhaps the most valuable of all at any price per weight, can be eliminated forever by climate change, they say, driven by really human combustion of fossil fuels. That's the prized Mediterranean truffle. It may disappear from the woodlands of France, Spain, and Italy by 2100, according to a separate study. All of the world's most foremost crops are selected, bred, and cultivated from wild ancestors. These original forebears remain a significant reservoir of genes that can be important to a species' survival. But the researchers came to measure progress in global conservation goals, and they found that only 3 species in 100 could be counted as sufficiently conserved. Many of these wild originals of the global commercial importance, they include the wild relatives of billion-dollar crops such as coffee, chocolate, vanilla, cinnamon, and even a little fir, most favored in Europe as a Christmas tree. Colin Curry, who is a specialist in biodiversity at the International Center of Tropical Agriculture in Colombia, and his colleagues report in the Journal of Ecological Indicators that they drew some of the 43 million records of 6,941 plants of socio-economic importance or cultural value, in effect, plants that make money for people in 220 countries. Under the UN Sustainable Development Guidelines and as targeted by the Convention of Biological Diversity, the nations of the world agreed to meet a series of ambitious conservation goals by 2020. These scientists devised a useful plant indicator which sorts wild crop ancestors into their status as conserved species in national parks or protected forests, as species in the gene banks, botanical gardens, and so on. And this is where we find the wild plants. We find them in the parks these days, in protected areas where people don't live anymore. It's kind of a contradiction of how we used to live, because we used to live in the wild, and all the wild plants and everything were around us. Remember the other day I was talking about, that clean forest that Trump was talking about. We don't have that anymore because we don't live in there anymore. The park and recreation is responsible for that, and they may not do it exactly the same way that our ancestors did. Remember, if you're within 5 miles of your home in the old days, that area was where you collected all the wood, all the dead wood, the dry wood, so we could make fires and build things. Of course, many of the species of plants we use as medicine, we use them as, fillers for the meat that we had, flavorings, spices. All these things can be lost if we don't protect these wild areas. In fact, I've always said that we need to increase our wild areas and let these animals roam and not domesticate them, because domestication is just another form of getting the good stuff out of them. They do much better on their own. They know what they're doing in the wild, and they protect themselves much better from diseases in the wild. They're not all grouped together. The plants aren't all grouped together. They're scattered. And we as human beings, we always herd things together, not just the animals, but the plants too. We grow one big acre of something. And then when the insects see it, they see a smorgasbord. It just makes sense not to do it that way. They found that wild coffee plants were far from safe, and 32 other coffee species were also, they're talking about 2 different coffee brands. The most popular were the Arabica and the Liberaca. Are the 2 species that we normally use. 2/3 of coffee species were not recorded in the banks at all. Coffee is a sensitive plant to temperature. Remember, David Dubine noticed the temperature changes when he was doing it in Miramar, and found that he had to move his orchards 300 or 400 miles south because the weather was changing. And then that's how he got to adapt 2030 and formulated that channel to inform us that the cold weather is coming. And I've got some other information about that too coming up. So some of the species were for a time being protected in national parks, but not collected safely in gene banks or botanical gardens. But as the world warms and climate changes, the species may have to shift their range into landscapes as a hazard. Of course, if you're shifting into a landscape and people are there, nothing is going to grow. And that's the problem with living in these large communities. Our ancestors never did that. We lived in small communities, maybe 150, 250 people. Although, they have seen some huge, huge ancient structures and things like that. So I think we know very little. Meanwhile, the truffle species traded at more than US $1,300 per kilogram could be lost to commerce within a generation or 2. That's that old truffle. And there's lots of other things in here that could impact it, for sure. So we really see, whether the climate is changing for cold or hot doesn't really make any difference. We need to preserve plants. And I think if we just let the natural plants, do their thing in the wild and protect those wild ones, we're going to always have those plants around. But these food banks are not a bad idea, because we know that the Earth in certain times goes through these cycles. 10,000 years ago, we know that we had a major ice age, and that's not even a major ice age compared to some of the ice ages that came before. But let's say a minor ice age, but it certainly covered a lot of all of Canada, pretty much. A lot of the Greenland and United States down to maybe New York City. A lot of ice in there. I don't know if that comes again, but if it's coming again, I don't want to be here. I want to be further south than even Florida, perhaps. So, protecting plants is a cool thing. I also think that maybe we need to, start buying some of these seeds to store them in case we need them in the next 10, 15, or 20 years. So if you're doing some kind of prepping and just storing canned foods or some dry goods, that may not be enough if we're looking at something major happening down the line as it getting really cold and then not having electricity and things like that. We have to start growing our own food, which is probably a good idea to start immediately. If you're into, preparing for the future, I really think starting a garden, maybe getting some chickens, or getting to know your neighbors better. So when everything hits the fan, kind of, and you need people, your neighbors are the ones that are close. They're the ones you can talk to. You certainly can't see your relatives that are 1,500 miles away, and you won't know what's happened to them. So start, I really think we need to start looking at building communities and getting to know people in your area, so when things like this happen. Anyway, I got a lot more, folks. I'd like to remind you, first of all, pick up the Health Signals newsletter. It's a brand new issue 23 today. Pick that up. It's only $10 a month. You get it on the first and third Tuesday of every month. So stick around, folks. Got a lot more. It's 877-927-6648 is the number to put up.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. The Taz Profile Scanner is the most revolutionary piece of trading software that you will ever try. Wouldn't you like to approach the markets with confidence? As you begin your trading day, it's likely that you'll be faced with lots of decisions. In order to make the best decision, the first thing you'll need is a strategy that will help you minimize your risks. Whether we're in a bull or bear market, a good strategy is to have the tools needed to help you scan and analyze the markets before you trade. The Taz Profile Scanner instantly scans and filters over 2,500 global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, president of Taz Market Profile, the Taz Profile Scanner understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications, automated trading algorithms, and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. Whether you're looking at the trade matrix, the ETF heat grid, the market breadth, the landscape charts, or the many other features of the Taz Profile Scanner, this is a piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the markets and set up your trades. The team at Taz has even put together a 12-part video series to walk you through every aspect of the Taz Profile Scanner, which you can find directly on the Taz order page at tfnn.com. Sign up now for only $97 a month with a risk-free 30-day trial, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. See for yourself how you can harness the full power of the Taz Profile Scanner by visiting the front page of tfnn.com today, and you'll find the Taz Profile Scanner under the Services section. Remember, with a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Don't let another day pass you by without trying out this amazing piece of software that will revolutionize how you look at the market and how you place trades. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show. This segment is going to be about some of these remote tribes that are still living traditionally, living off the land, living with no modern conveniences, and not wanting really contact with the outside world, and probably good reason for that. But I don't know, a while back there was an American called John Allen Chow. He was killed by an endangered tribe in India last week, and this is from November 24th, so a couple of weeks ago. It brought a renewed focus on some of the world's most isolated people. Official in China said Chow was a missionary keen to convert to protected Sentinelese people on the Andaman and the Nicobar Islands. But the Sentinelese, who are fearful of outsiders, attacked him with bows and arrows. Advocates for isolated communities like the London-based Survival International says Chow's killing should act as a reminder that remote tribes need to be protected from the outside world. And one anthropologist interviewed by the BBC said there was a risk in such incidents could make people wrongly assume all tribes lived nasty, brutal, and short lives. In fact, experts have highlighted plenty of lessons the developing world could take from these tribes. And here are a few. So I want to go over a few of these because I think it's very interesting. Not that I want you to live like this, but I think when you look at things from a different perspective, then you can kind of see how things used to be, and maybe this is a method that could impact some of the types of things that we do. The Peoria tribe, which number about 14,000, live in the Orinoco River in the Amazon state of Venezuela. Is it possible to live completely in complete equality and make it a peaceful community? There's one catch. It says here, becoming an antichrist. No government, no state, or only the individual and their will to do as they please. And this is how the Peoria disavow violence. They don't punish their children physically. They believe peace is achieved by dismissing concepts of ownership, competition, vanity, and greed. Quite a bit different world from us. No sports are played, land is not owned, no one can order anyone else to work, and there's a strong emphasis on learning from other people. Not that there's a deference towards elders that would make the society hierarchical, and they don't want that. That means everybody's not equal, and they want everybody to be equal. The idea of the individual is the most important thing, and although that emphasis doesn't foster selfishness, interesting, it is up to each individual to choose what they do, how they do it, and when they do it, and then not pass judgment on others' decisions. In a 1989 essay, American-born Professor Jonah Overy writes, the Peoria daily express to one another their right to private choice and their right to be free from domination over a wide range of matters such as residence, work, self-development, and even marriage. And because the society of absolute equals, men and women share the same status, not that status is a thing at all there. Anyone who tries to conform to traditional images of manhood like Hunter is a subject to pity and is seen as a lack of self-control. The idea of maturing into a man does not exist, she writes, nor do they, the young men, learn self-regarding virtues of manhood that would set them as males apart from females, and such a thing superior and therefore superior to them. Each woman is a mistress of their own fertility, for which she alone is responsible. The community has no legal right, and nor does her husband if they choose to divorce. So that's a different. Here's another tribe. The Boyaka tribe are a group of hunter and gatherers that live in the rainforest of Central Africa. What can we learn from them? That you have to find your own place in society. For them, music forms a central part of their identity, and experts say the style they enjoy has even conditioned their behavior. This is very interesting. The music that they sing are dense polyphonies, meaning that each member will be singing a different melody, and by combining these, you create a song. He says the way in which each person sings their own melody reflects the great importance of the place of the individual. It trains you to be different and keeps society's highly valued autonomy. Only children can walk They are free. Once children can walk, they are free to decide where they sleep, with whom they associate themselves. You don't have a right to ask anybody to do anything for you. But when there are no leaders and when everyone is free to be an individual, how do they learn to work together? Once again, the answer lies in their music. Their regular participation in this style of singing was that taught people the way they could coordinate in normal and everyday life. You have to hold your own melody while other people are singing different melodies. In order to cooperate and be effective together, you need to do something different. This is the autonomy in which people are very sensitive to the needs of others and to the right to be different. Now, there's another one indigenous tribe living in northern Brazil and southern Venezuela, the Yanomami tribe. Research on this tribe, who were isolated from the world until at least the 1950s, has given new insights on how modern life could be changing the makeup of the human body. In 2015, they examined the number of these villagers, and they revealed the most diverse collection of bacteria ever found in people, including some that have never been detected in human beings before, the scientists said. They said it shows how modern diets, antibiotics, hygiene can be reducing the range of bacteria in our bodies. Perhaps even minimal exposure to modern practices can result in a dramatic loss of bacterial diversity. Now, this is something that we speak about on the show a lot, about our gut, what's in our gut. He had it with each step in westernization, you seem to lose a small amount of diversity. The study also added to our understanding of antibiotic resistance. For years, medical professionals have warned that the overuse of antibiotics is making infections harder to treat by creating drug-resistant superbugs. This study found that these villagers had a unique antibiotic-resistant genes, despite the fact that they never have been taking the drugs before. It provides further evidence that bacteria in our bodies can already resist antibiotics even before they have been attacked by them. So these people never have antibiotics, but they're already resistant to some of these bugs that the antibiotics are resistant to. So, you know, evolution and life and everything is kind of funny. It spreads around the world and we don't even know it. Remember, we talked the other day about how the white man's diseases came way before the white man even reached the Mississippi River, all the way across the country. And perhaps this is how what we're eating in the modern world is even affecting the people who are not eating this way and are isolated and really don't have much contact with us at all. There's another remote tribe in the Amazon, and they say the slower life is a happier life. Quite apart from medicinal discoveries, he says there's plenty to learn from the lifestyles of isolated communities. What we find is that people don't suffer from stress, heart disease, insomnia, and they spend time with their families. We may be not ready to give up our iPhones and iPads and eat Thai again, but life lessons are clear. Slow down, don't spend time worrying about things that you can't do anything about. Yeah, that's pretty good advice for sure. So ancient people are still around, and they're still doing their ancient things, and they seem like they're doing pretty good. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back, and during the break, please pick up our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder. I'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And welcome back to the show. You know, it's the holiday season. It's time for parties, it's family dinners, lots of festivities going on. And of course, this all means when we're celebrating, we all get together to eat. And it's a time of year when a lot of people will overindulge. And I've got some tips for you to kind of remain in what we call the keto zone, because that's the new term for what everybody's talking about. You want to be in ketosis, you want to be on the keto diet, Primal diet, Atkins diet. These are all very similar. The only thing that keto really reflects to is that at some stage or another you may be monitoring your ketones through a strip of some kind, or they have a breathalyzer, things like that. But that's not really the point of this whole thing. Is how do you stay in ketosis? You know, how do you remain making sure that you're not switching over to burning sugar during the holidays? Because that's very easy. For most people, this means the New Year's Eve with a little extra padding, not to mention higher levels of inflammatory, triglycerides will go up, blood pressure, blah, 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 all these things. So I want to share a couple of strategies on this site here. That is grassfedbeef.com, a really good site that's really put out by Wellness Meats, and I buy stuff from them now and then. So when we get to the foods here, let's see if I can scroll this up. It's stuck. There we go. So strategies here. So stuffing with gravy, bread, mashed potatoes, all these things are things that can get you into trouble. These comfort foods are what you crave most. In fact, I hear a lot of people saying at Thanksgiving and things like that, oh, I have to have this, I have to have this. It's traditional, I always have this. And it's usually the pumpkin pie or the mashed potatoes or something that you grew up with in your family that may put you into take you out of ketosis and put you into that roller coaster ride of, feeling stuffed but still hungry. These comfort foods are often what we crave most, but just a few bites can throw you out of ketosis, not to mention triggering more hunger and more eating. So instead of mashed potatoes, try creamy and satisfying mashed cauliflower celery with a side dish of lower carbs and higher nutritions. Makes sense. Make a delicious keto pan gravy from the fat drippings of your pastured turkey using a small amount of arrowroot powder or some gum, Zathian gum. Include creamy casseroles like green bean casserole in your holiday spread, and using the real grass-fed heavy cream and butter instead of the other stuff that you use, margarine or some of these vegetable oils. Instead of fried onions, try pastured pork rinds. That sounds delicious for the crunch and texture that everybody loves. And stuffing may be made with keto-friendly breadcrumbs. I like oysters myself, but that's fine. Here's a nice picture of a turkey, by the way. While eating more fat may sound crazy, most traditional fatty foods are paired with carbohydrates, and that's really the problem. Remember, the fat is not normally the problem, as long as it's a healthy fat from an animal, or even some fruit ones are good. Roasted bone marrow and a keto spinach artichoke dip are fat and nutrition-rich appetizers that can be served with sliced and toasted keto bread. You know, personally, I don't do any kind of bread. I just eliminate it from, but this is a good way to do it. Classic holiday sauce with horseradish crema are a great way to be healthy, fat and flavor, and you can have your roasted turkey and your prime rib with those, and that would be a nice pairing. Keto cheddar sage biscuits and cheddar rosemary crackers made with almond flour make great use of grass-fed raw cheese while scratching the itch for the crackers and that little crunch that you like. A paleo mayonnaise turkey with herbs not only adds more fat to your bird, it also makes the baste-free roasting too. Number 3 strategy is, while most cocktails have 150 calories, festive drinks like traditional eggnog, spiked punches, or alcoholic hot chocolate drinks can pack about 300 calories and more than 20 grams of sugar. So you need to stay away from those because your body doesn't register liquid calories in the same way it does from food. It's really easy to keep sipping these kind of drinks. And this is one of the reasons I never drink alcohol with a flavor of any kind besides just the alcohol, is because it just tastes too good and you want to sip and sip and sip it. Well, if you have a little scotch or a little vodka or something, then you can sip that, and you need to take small sips because that's generally how it's taken, and that's how it feels the best. So the good news is that you can wisely stay in ketosis with hard liquors like vodka, gin, rum are your best options, but I think a good scotch or bourbon, you can do the same thing. It's because they're low carb counts. Ethyl alcohol is carb free. You can also use stevia, monk fruit, or other types of things, and I say don't do those. And in wines, the dry wines are the best. The dry reds are even the best right there, for sure. Number 4 strategy is give your favorite desserts a makeover. You know that one slice of pecan pie has 500 calories, 65 carbohydrate grams, and 32 grams of sugar? Yeah, and who can eat just one piece, it says here. Yeah, that's true. The good news is that you can enjoy your holiday treats with all these sweetness with none of the side effects. Simply replace your sugar cup for cup with your favorite recipes of non-GMO ethanol. It's about 70% as sweet as sugar, so you need to boost it a little bit. And stevia, people use these things. I say give up those completely myself. That's just my opinion, folks. Number strategy on 5, chew or sip on these. One of these things about keto is how effectively it can suppress your hunger. That's true. When you're in ketosis, you're not hungry. It's a beautiful thing. But even the best laid plans go awry. Chew on a piece of all-natural sugar-free gum if you need to. Not only does peppermint taste terrible with asparagus and ham, but chewing gum lasts about 45 minutes and is known to suppress hunger. So if you want to suppress your hunger, you can do it that way, they say. Spry gum is one of those natural ones that you can buy at the health food store. Another option is enjoying a calorie-free cup of herbal tea, coffee. We talked about that before. And the main thing, of course, the thing for the holidays is really by being able to enjoy your friends and family. That's what the holidays all are about. And, that's the traditional thing we always did. First with our parents, then with the extended family, and then as you get into your 70s, you're finding your family is slowly dwindling away, except for your children and stuff, which happen to be about 1,300 miles away. So we don't get to see them during the holidays as much. But every couple of years we do go up there, and sometimes we get some visitors down here, which is nice. But for me, the holidays are about family, and that's what we think of. And that's why I think in the last few years, my wife and I have kind of just started doing different things, and it feels a little bit different. But we're getting the hang of it, and this is, I guess, how life changes. We're not in the tribe anymore where we used to be with all the people we loved and grew up with, and now we're surrounded pretty much with our neighborhood and people we don't know much about. It's unfortunate, but that's the way our society is built these days, and it's something I think we need to change. Stick around, folks. I got another segment coming up, and I'll be right back.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN has put together the best lineup of live content for traders by traders every market day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected minds in the business. TFNN broadcasts 5 days a week live from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We have live programming every market day during market hours. Every morning, Larry Pesavento kicks off the trading day live at 9 a.m. and breaks down the opening bell with Trade What You See. At 10 a.m., Tom and Tommy O'Brien host the TFNN Bull Bear Trading Hour, followed at 11 a.m. by the team at TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim with Fast Market. Basil Chapman hosts the Tiger Technicians Hour at noon, Steve Rhodes at 1 p.m. with the Trader's Edge, Dave White at 2 p.m. with the Power Trading Hour, and Tom O'Brien anchors the daily lineup from 3 till 5 as host of the Tom O'Brien Show. Tune in to TFNN's Tiger TV on your computer or mobile device, and you can always find us streaming on YouTube. TFNN.com, educating investors.
There's a theory out that talks about sunspots, and I wanted to bring that to you because it's growing. And it's saying that when there's fewer sunspots, then we go into the minimum. We have 11-year cycles of minimum and maximum, and right now we're just entering the minimum, and of course we had very few spots. The guy at the weather company, which is IBM's the weather company, said I was a real skeptic of the impact of solar cycles and sunspots. But after studying the pattern of cold winters that followed the low sunspot numbers, I was on board. So people are getting on board with this theory that Suspicious Observer and a lot of people at that 2030 have been talking about. I want to bring your attention to this chart. Now, this is a CO2 chart that goes over 500 million years, starting from this point and going to where we are. And you can see clearly that our CO2, and this measurements is done by the ice cores from the oil companies and also from past studies. The green ones are all the latest studies and that really goes back millions of years also. You can see right now we're at a very low point of what CO2 used to be, much, much higher in the past. So all this nonsense about CO2, I really do think it's about pollution. And I've always said that it's pollution that is our problem. We need to get rid of pollution. Because you know, if we're living in the wild, you don't have as much pollution because everything is scattered. And that's what animals always do. They scatter their poo and they scatter everything around. It doesn't become a problem. We're the only species on Earth that gathers up all our junk and puts it in one place. It's a ridiculous way, and there's too many of us, I guess, too. But the sunspots are getting less and less, and that means that we're going to a minimum. Whether it's a grand minimum or not, we're still probably not sure of. Plenty of people on board say we are heading into that grand minimum this century for sure, and whether it's this next 10 years or whether it's going to be another 20 or 30 years, we really don't know, but we know that the cold weather has hit us for sure. So I think that's pretty evident. So we'll keep you up to date on this. This is something that's a passion of mine, so you'll be getting the news as soon as I hear it. Thanks for sticking around, folks. There'll be a show this Thursday. We got Paige back. We're really looking forward to seeing her, and I'm sure she has a lot of great stories about Thailand. So see you next trip. Bye-bye.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters.